Chulin Daf Mem Aleph. We're starting on the bottom of Daf Mem Amud Beis. Says the Gemara, Rav Nachman, Rav Amram, and Rabbi Yitzchak Amri, they all say, Ein Adam Oiser Davar She'ein Shaloi. A person cannot prohibit his friend's possession. Something that does not belong to him, you cannot prohibit it. Unlike Rav Huna, who said on the previous summer that you can by slaughtering even a small amount of your friend's animal, you did prohibit it. Rav Nachman, Rabbi Yitzchak, and Amram all maintain that no, you cannot, because it's not your possession. You have no ability to cause your friend's animal to become aser. Asks the Gemara, Meisive, Hashaychet b'Shabbos, if someone slaughters on Shabbos, Hashaychet chatas b'Shabbos, if he's slaughtering a chatas on Shabbos, b'chutz, outside of the Beis HaMikdash, la'avodas kechavim, as an act of idolatry, by slaughtering this animal avodah zarah, so then you are chayav shalosh chatos. You're obligated to bring 3 sin offerings for all 3 transgressions you did. According to these opinions, the way it would work is that even though a chatas is not considered yours, because it's all going to the koyanim, the meat is going to the mizbeach and to the koyanim, and therefore it's not considered yours, and therefore you cannot prohibit this animal, even though you slaughtered it for idolatry, but still you would transgress the prohibition of idolatry because you in your mind meant to worship an idol, to worship avodah zarah by slaughtering this animal, and therefore you would be chayav all 3 chatos, but even so you didn't prohibit the animal. And continues the Gemara, and we have already established this writer to be talking about a chatas ha'oif, talking about a bird that's a chatas, that all you need to slaughter is 1 siman. You can even slaughter just the trachea, and we're saying it's a case of chatzikon apagum where the trachea was already halfway severed, and all you're doing is finishing up a very small amount of shechita to take it over the top, to make a majority slaughtered, and with that one action, all 3 transgressions are coming at once. Rashi explains that even according to these opinions, who hold that you cannot create any isser in your friend's animal, l'avodah zarah, and therefore we're not worried, like we were worried at the top of the Amud, that at the beginning of the shechita it's going to be called avodah zarah. We're not worried about that over here, according to them, because you can't affect isser in your animal's carbon. But still, we still understand that this brisa must be talking about chatas ha'oif and chatzikon pogum. How come? Because otherwise, why do you have to talk about a chatas? Let's talk about an oila. An oila also is not yours. It's also all going to the mizbeach. It's also not yours. So we can discuss any carbon that's not yours, that you can transgress all 3 prohibitions with 1 action of shechita. From the fact that we're talking about chatas, says Rashi, even these opinions have to agree that we're discussing a chatas ha'oif, because that's the only unique thing that can come up with the chatas, that can help us in our situation. And if it's chatzikon pogum, and it's a chatas ha'oif, and therefore all 3 things are coming at once, and that's why the brisa we were talking about chatas. So even according to them, they have to agree it's talking about a chatas ha'oif, with a chatzikon pogum, and with 1 action, you're doing with 1 small amount of cutting, you're effectively doing a shechita and chayav all 3 averas at once. Now continues the Gemara to ask, still taima de chatas ha'oif, it sounds like from the Brayso, so the only reason why you would be chayav all 3 is because it's talking about a chatas ha'oif. The kuli bahadei hadodei ka'asin, all the transgressions are coming together. Aval zevach loy, but a oif, let's say you're slaughtering it with a regular slaughter, not malika, something that needs a knife. No, you would not transgress all 3 at once. Asks the Gemara, but if you hold the person can't make his friend's possession usher, why do you have to talk about a chatas ha'oif? So discuss even a chatas behema or an oila. In that situation, it's not yours, so you can't make it into avodah zarah with your shechita. You're just going to be over for your intention, and therefore with the gemara shechita, you're shechting b'chutz on Shabbos. You chayav 2 for that, and then another for your intention of avodah zarah. So why do you have to specifically talking about chatas ha'oif? Says the Gemara, no. Kevin the kanile the kapara kedidei damya. Since you are partnering with the kohanim in the animal, because you are getting atoned, you're getting a kapara with this animal for your sin. If it's an oila, an oilo, we know the Gemara in Zvachim tells us an oilo is mechaper on mitzvahs essays that you transgressed. Achatas is definitely coming for a sin, it's atoning, and therefore since you are partnering in the animal, you really are considered a little bit of an owner, and therefore if it's talking about achatas or an oila, so then you would not transgress all three, because at the beginning, because you do have ownership in it, you would effectively make it into avodah zarah, and then you wouldn't be chayiv for kachin, because once it's avodah zarah, it can't be kachin, and therefore we do have to be talking about a case of chatas ha'ayif, where everything comes together. And it's already chatzikon ha'pagum when all you're doing is slaughtering a little bit amount, and with that one action, you're making it avodah zarah and shchutei chutz, and you're slaughtering on Shabbos by killing the animal, and only in that situation you would be chayav all three. But otherwise, because you do have partnership in the animal, so therefore you would right away cause it to be avodah zarah, and you not transgress shchutei chutz. Tashema, the Gemara wants to come and listen and hear another proof against this opinion of Ein Adam Davar Shein Shaloi. Our Mishnah said, if you have two people holding a knife and they're both slaughtering together, one of them is slaughtering the shum in the name of any of the list we had before in the Mishnah for mountains or hills or seas, rivers and deserts. He wants to worship one of those, and he's slaughtering one of those. And one of them is doing it to a kosher thing, meaning regular intention to slaughter the animal. So two people are slaughtering the animal, one is having evil intention, one having good intention, so we say shchitas psula. It's possible. And the Gemara's assumption is that we're talking even in a case where it doesn't belong to the person who is shechting. It belongs to who's shechting with evil intention. It belongs to the person who's shechting with good intention. And the other person is just holding the other end of the knife, not that he owns the animal, and still he can affect the animal to be considered asur. Says the Gemara, no, we're talking about the islay shutas. It's only talking about a situation when they are actually partners, and since he does have ownership in the animal, therefore he can affect isur into the animal, but otherwise he cannot affect isur. Toshima amtame. Another brisa says, if someone impurifies his friend's food, just by, let's say, touching a sheretz to the food, or hamidameya, or you mix up Chulin, you mix up regular food with truma, and now even the chulin has to be acted upon as if it's truma, because it's all mixed up together. And Rashi says now it becomes all cheaper because truma can only be sold to kehanim. Only kehanim can eat truma, and therefore it has less value. And now you took truma, you mixed it up with my chulin fruits, and now all my chulin fruits lost value. Or you take your friend's wine and you pour it l'avodah zarah. So the halacha is b'shogeg pater. If it's b'shogeg, if it's by mistake, you didn't know it was your friend's, or you didn't realize it was asur, then it's your pater. Why? Because it's hezek shein nikar. It's damage that's not noticeable. Damage is not noticeable in a physical sense. You can't obligate me for if it was a mistake. But b'mezid, if you did it on purpose, then you're chayav. You're chayav because the rabbis made a penalty on you, because you made your even though it's hezek shein nikar, even though it's not noticeable, still we penalize you for making your friends things asur. But either way, we see from this brisa that it definitely becomes asur, even though it's not yours. You can make your friend's wine yain nesech and make it asur. You can impurify your friend's food, and you can make your friend's food asur because it might be truma. Either way, we see that you can affect your friend's possessions to become asur. Says the Gemara, also over here we must say that it's not a question on the opinions of hold. You cannot affect prohibition in your friend's possessions. It's talking about if they really are partners, and that's how they can and have the power to make it asur. Kitanoi says the Gemara, this is really machlokes tanoim. Ovid kechavim, if you have a non-Jew, shenisech yenoi shel Yisrael, that poured the wine of Yisrael for avodah zarah, and shalei bifnei avodas kechavim, even if it's not in front of the actual idol, asur, he made it prohibited. So you see, a non-Jew can prohibit a Jew's wine. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseirav, Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, Matir and I say, they both allow it, mipnei shnei dvarim, because of they have two reasons to allow it. First of all, she'ein minaschin yain el b'fnei avodas kechavim. The only way you used to pour wine of avodah zarah, and in that way being worshipping idols, that was only actually in front of the avodah zarah. If he's not in front of the avodah zarah, he's not actually in front of the idol, then it's worthless. It's not true worship, and therefore it's not asur. The echad the other reason why they said it's mutter is like as you could tell it's not in your power that you will prohibit my wine against my will. So they hold obviously that someone else cannot prohibit my wine. It's my wine. You have no power to make it into avodah zarah. You have no right to, and you have no power to. So you see over here that this is a machlokes tanaim. Really, it's a machlokes tanaim. The Rav Nachman, Rav Amma, Rav Yitzchak Amri. Rav Nachman and Rav Amma and Rav Yitzchak all could say that I feel even according to the opinion over here that a person can prohibit something that's not theirs. Hani mili kusi. That's only talking about a kusi or a non-Jew. Aval Yisrael. But if it's a Jew who's doing it, if a Jew is slaughtering an animal avodah zarah, is slaughtering his friend's animal avodah zarah, so then he doesn't really mean it. It's litzuri kamechav, and he's just trying to pain, he's trying to annoy him, and therefore he never really meant it. So they're saying, Rav Nachman, Rav Amar, and Rav Yitzchak are effectively saying that even even the opinions in the brayso we just read that hold you can prohibit a guy can prohibit a Jew's wine, that's only a non-Jew, because he really means avodah zarah. But if a Jew is doing it, and that's the case they were talking about, a Jew is doing it, then even everyone agrees that a Jew will not prohibit his friend's possessions because he doesn't really mean it. All he means is to annoy him. Tashema. Let's try to bring another proof. Like we said before, two people slaughtering one animal, one having evil intention. We said it's possible. So what do you see from here? That even though it's a Jew, right? Obviously it's a Jew slaughtering it. Otherwise, of course it's not good. A non-Jew is not allowed to slaughter. So obviously we're talking about a Jew. And still it's saying that the Jew can effect Isser into the animal and make it possible because he's having in mind avodah zarah. Says the Gemara, we're talking about a Jew who has already converted out of the covenant. He's not an adherent to the mitzvahs. He's a mumar, and therefore him, you're right, him he can really have in mind avodah zarah, and therefore he prohibits the animal. But if it's a regular Jew, we say he's really having in mind to annoy. Tashima, like we said before. So what do you see over here? That you can affect Isser. And this is obviously talking about Yisrael. Says the Gemara, you're right, but it's talking about Yisrael Mumar. Really, a regular Jew, we would not take him seriously. We're saying he just annoys, he doesn't mean it. He just means to annoy him. But over here, says the Gemara, the reason why it works is because it's a Yisrael Mumar. Omar lei Rav Acha Brei de Raful Rav Ashi. Says Rav Acha, the son of Raful to Rav Ashi. How about if hitru by the kibul of Asra? If, let's say, witnesses warned him that he's doing something wrong, you are being minasach yain avodah zarah, and that's wrong. Let's say they actually warned him and said, how could you do it? The kibul olav, and then he accepted the kibul olav asar. He accepted the warning. He said, yes, afal pikin, even though I know it's asar, still I'm going to pour this wine avodah zarah and worship the avodah zarah with my actions. What would they say? What would these opinions who say that a regular Yisrael just means to annoy, and he doesn't mean avodah zarah? How about if witnesses had actually warned him, and he accepted, and he said, I don't care? So then, would we still say that he's just doing it to annoy? Amarle, so he told him back, you're saying you're talking about a person who allowed himself for death, meaning in essence, this person told the witnesses that yes, I'm prohibiting and I'm doing something that you can kill me for, because if he's prosecuted in a court of law, they would kill him for being avodah zarah, and he himself he gave himself over to his fate. Hiter atma lemisa. In that situation, of course he's a mumar. Of course he's considered someone who doesn't care about the mitzvahs, and therefore we have to take his avodah zarah seriously. And in that case, according to the opinion of the Mishnah that says even these opinions would agree that it is aser. Says the Mishnah, you cannot slaughter, you can't slaughter over the sea or over a river so that the blood goes into it. The Gemara explains because it looks like you're slaughtering to the god of the sea, and that looks like avodah zarah. and not into vessels, because it also looks like you're collecting the blood to throw Avodah Zarah. Aval, however, you can slaughter into a puddle of water. And if you're on a boat, al gabe kelim, you can slaughter on a vessel. Ein sheichtin leguma, you can't slaughter into a ditch at all. But in your house, you can make a ditch. So that the blood will go into the ditch. In the marketplace, you should not do this. So that you will not be mimicking the tzdukim who used to do this. The Gemara will explain all these cases. Says the Gemara, you can't slaughter directly into the sea or into a river. Says the Gemara, why, in terms of slaughtering into the sea, you can't? People are going to say you're slaughtering to the god of the sea, so it's going to be perceived as Avodah Zarah. So into a puddle of water also, you shouldn't be allowed. Why? Because Amri, people might say you're slaughtering to your own reflection, and that also might be perceived as Avodah Zarah. Says the type of puddle you're allowed to slaughter into is if it's dirty water. In dirty water, you don't see your reflection, and therefore people won't say that you're slaughtering to your reflection. Ein sheichtin leguma. The Gemara is going to analyze this clause in the Mishnah that says you can't slaughter into a guma. Then it continues to say, but in your house you can. So asks the Gemara, didn't you just say ein sheichtin leguma? Now you just turned around and told me you could do a guma in your house. Amar Abaye says, no, we meant bashuk. The first statement that said you can't make a guma, you can't slaughter into a guma, that's in the marketplace. Rava says, since the last clause in the Mishnah was shukli asake in the marketplace came to michlal, you can infer from that the reisha lav b'shugasin was not dealing with the marketplace, meaning only the last clause is talking about a marketplace, but the first clause, the introductory clause, which said you can't at all be shaykhing into a guma, that must not be talking about the shuk. Rava says, this is what it means. You cannot be shaykhet into a guma at all, no matter what. Categorical imperative. However, if you want to slaughter in your courtyard and you want it to be clean, so what do you do? You can have a guma there, make a hole, make a ditch in the chat, but you can't slaughter into it. You go near the guma, near the ditch, and in a place near the ditch, you v'shoichet, that's where you slaughter. V'dam sheises v'yard, and then you can let you can direct the blood, that the blood will continue into the guma, and the blood drips and yared leguma. However, in the shuk lo yasakein, in the marketplace, you still should not do it shelo yichake es tzdukim, so that you don't mimic the tzdukim. Apparently, the tzdukim used to do this as a form of idolatry, so slaughtering into these ditches. Whatever it is, we can't do it. And in the shuk, you can't even do. In the shuk, you can't even slaughter near the ditch so that the blood seeps into the ditch. Even that situation, you can't do it because you're in public. People might still be suspicious and that you're mimicking the tzdukim. So again, you cannot slaughter into a guma whatsoever. In your private courtyard, you can slaughter near the guma and let the blood flow into the guma, but in the shuk, it's not allowed even that. Tanika is the Rav. We have a bright like Rav halach basfina. If you are traveling in a boat, you have no place in the svina lishchait. You can outstretch your arm outside of the boat, outside of the rim of the boat, and then you can slaughter. Meaning you're slaughtering over the wall of the boat. You go over the edge and then you slaughter over the wall of the boat. And like that, you're not actually slaughtering directly into the sea, so no one's going to say that you're slaughtering to the deity of the sea. But because the blood is going straight onto the sfina, that's why it's fine. The ain't shech of the guma kalikar, and continues the brisa that you cannot. By the way, the thing we just said before, that's what it said in the Mishnah, that with sfina al gabe kelim, on the sfina you can be Sheikhet al gabi Kerem, because it doesn't look like you're slaughtering to the sea. Continues the Brisa, and this is where we see that the Brisa is like what Rava just explained, that he says, Ein Sheikhetin leguma koliku, you can't slaughter into a ditch at all. If you want to have a clean courtyard, so then case of the ois, what do you do? Ois makam chutz leguma, you take a place that's outside of the ditch, and then the sheichet, and you slaughter v'dam sheishes leguma, and then the blood flows into the guma. In the marketplace you should not do it because it doesn't involve you cannot go in the paths and the rituals of the guy, you cannot do. And if a person does it, then we have to check after him that he might be a tzduki. Says the Mishnah, if you slaughter an animal that's chulin, that was never meant to be a carbon, but when you slaughter, you have intention for it to be an oila. Or l'shem shlamim, you have intention to be a shlamim. Or l'shem asham tolo, you have intention for it to be an asham toli. Asham toli is when you're not sure if you sinned and you bring a carbon because you're not sure. L'shem pesach, or you have in mind for the animal to be a carbon pesach. L'shem taida, or a carbon taida. Shchitasei psula. His shchita is considered pasul. V'Rab Shimon machshir, Rab Shimon allows it. Shnayim otzin b'sakin. If you have two people holding on to the knife, one on the bottom and one on the top of the knife, v'shoichtin, and they both slaughter l'shum echem kol elu. One of them slaughters for one of these karbanas, ve'echad l'shum davar kasher, and one of them for just regular intention for chulin. Then again, shchitas psula. One person can affect iser, even though the other one is doing it okay. Ashoich l'shem chatas. If someone slaughters, however, if you're slaughtering l'shem chatas, a sin offering, or l'shem asham, to a carbon asham, which comes for specific sins, it's asham vadai, l'shem bechor. If you're doing it, you're slaughtering it for it to be like a bechor, an animal that's a bechor you bring as a carbon, or l'shem meiser, to bring it as the 10th animal, which you have to bring as a carbon to the Beis HaMikdash, or l'shem temura, or because you're saying I'm shechting this animal, which is chulin. Again, all these animals we're discussing are really chulin, but he says that he's doing it for temura. Temura is when you have an animal that you made kachim and you want to convert the kedusha from one animal to the other animal, and you're saying that this animal is temura and I'm shechting it for the temura. So in that situation, how come? Because this is the rule. Of anything that's possible for you to donate as a neder or a nedava. A neder is when it's a lie, when you're taking responsibility on you without actually earmarking the actual carbon. And nedava is when you actually say harizeh, you're earmarking the actual carbon. But either way, anything that can be donated, nidar or nidav. So then hashaych l'shmei asar. If you shecht in its name, it becomes asar. Why? Because people might actually think that really it's a carbon, and you're doing it outside, and outside it's pasul. You cannot shecht any carbon outside. Now, even though you were lying, and even though really this animal is chulin, right? But since you said that it's one of these korbanos, and people watching know that it's a possibility because it is something that you can donate. It could be something that's very, very plausible that this animal could be one of those korbanos, and therefore we're geyser. We say that midrabanan it's pasul because people might think that you're allowed to slaughter kachim outside. However, if it is not nidar or nidav, meaning if you can't just donate it out of the blue, so then hashaychit l'shmoi kosher. If you slaughter it in that name, towards that type of carbon, it's considered kosher. Why? Because everyone knows you're joking, because you can't just make it up that you're obligated to bring that carbon. It must be really it's chulin. No one takes you seriously. Says the Gemara, hashaychet l'shem oila. If you slaughter l'shem oila, l'shem zvachim l'shem asham toli. Says the Gemara, asham toli, is it a bar nidav and nidavu? Can you come doing an asham toli? It doesn't asham toli only come if you're not sure if you sinned. So only then can you bring an asham toli. Not you can't just donate an asham toli. Rabbi Eliyahu says no. Hamani Rabbi Lazar. This is Rabbi Lazar's opinion. The Omar misnad of adam asham toli b'chol yom. Rabbi Lazar has a very unique opinion that asham toli can be brought by donation. You don't even have to have sinned or have that you're not sure if you sinned. And then you bring asham toli. No, you don't need that at all. You can bring it anytime you want. Pesach. And he holds you can bring it anytime you want because he says that always we're afraid we might have sinned. Either way, an asham toli is something that could be brought without any prior knowledge of sin or not, or even doubt of sin, and therefore it is something that's called nidav v'nidav, and therefore someone seeing you might really think it's a nashim toli. Pesach asks the Gemara, is it a bar nidav v'nidavu? You can't just donate a Pesach. You can't have a Pesach. Pesach is a specific time. If you're on Shavuos time, obviously this is not a Pesach, and therefore why should we take this guy seriously? It says the Gemara, no. The Gemara says Manakvile has a specific time. Pesach has a specific time. Rabbi Eliyahu, he says no. Shani Pesach is different. You can't actually separate a Pesach anytime during the year, and therefore it is possible that this is a bona fide, genuine Korban Pesach. Even though you're in Shavuos time, it doesn't make a difference. This person might really have a Korban Pesach on his hand because he maybe made it into a Korban Pesach. Because you really can separate a Korban Pesach anytime during the year. Continues the Gemara Amar Rabbi Yanai Loishanu ala Tmimi. We were only talking about this whole discussion over here that it's also because someone might really think you're bringing kachim b'chutz is only if the animal is complete. There's no blemishes of al balei moment. If it's blemish, made the idea. Everyone knows that you're not really bringing it's not really a carbon. You're not meaning to bring a carbon b'chutz because it has a blemish and this would never be acceptable as kachim. So it's not real kachim. Rabbi Yochanan says no. I think balei moment nami. Even balei moment, even if it's a balei moment, there's a blemish, it still would be considered asur midrabanan. Because zinin deramile media muma, sometimes there's something on top of the mum, something covering the blemish. V'lo yudi, and people don't know, and they really think you are shechting kachim b'chutz, and then they would make the mistake that it's mutter. And therefore, even in that situation where there's a mum, we'd still prohibit it. Continues the Gemara. If you slaughter for a chatas, then we said we don't take you seriously because you can't just donate a chatas. This is only talking about if he didn't actually make a sin that is chayav chatas. But if he transgressed a sin that is chayav chatas, then it would be considered. Then we would say no, maybe really he does mean it. Someone watching will say that maybe he does mean it for his chatas, and therefore will think that you can shech the chatas outside, and therefore we would prohibit it. Says the Gemara, he didn't say the shem my chatas. Just said chatas, as if he could donate a chatas. You can't just donate a chatas. He says a random, I want to bring a chatas, right? If he would have said chatasi, right, then I know that that he meant for his actual sin. But since this is just a chatas, a general chatas, you can't just bring a general chatas. You can't just donate that. So the Gemara says you're right. He means the same chatasi. He means that in a situation, Rabbi Eliyahu means in a situation where he was chayav chatas and he says l'shem chatasi, then we might have to take him seriously. We have to take him seriously, and someone might think that he really is bringing a carbon, and therefore we have to prohibit it. L'shem tmura, we're only talking about when he says l'shem tmura, they don't take him seriously. What do you mean you're converting an animal? This animal you're converting from a different animal. You don't have an animal in your house, so therefore we can't take you seriously. You don't have an actual animal that's designated for a carbon in your house. We do say, maybe he really actually would mean that, maybe he actually meant that he wants to convert the kedusha from the animal in your house onto this animal, and therefore we do have to take him seriously. Says the Gemara, he didn't say, I actually want this to be a transfer of kedusha from my carbon. He didn't say that, and therefore we should still assume that he's just playing around with something that he can't just donate a tmura, and therefore we still shouldn't take him seriously. Rav says you're right. This we're talking about ba'im l'shem tmura zivchi. He's saying that I want to give it as a carbon, as tmura zivchi. And in that situation, if she actually has a zevach in his house, then we do have to be concerned that he might be that someone watching might think that it really is a genuine tamura, and you can be shaykh to kachim b'chutz, and therefore we have to be chayshish and say midrabanan it's puzzle. Says the Gemara, zeh klal le'asuyei mai. Why does the Mishnah have to repeat the klal and the general rule? Says the Gemara, le'asuyei oilas nazir. This is to include oilas nazir. That if someone says, I want to bring this animal as an oilas nazir, I would think haloi nodar. we know that he didn't make a neder, meaning Nazirus, you can be neder Nazirus. But even though you could be neder Nazirus, still we never heard that this guy became a Nazir. So therefore, I would say we don't have to be concerned, you don't have to care from anyone watching because no one's going to take him seriously. Says the Gemara, Eibar neder betzina. No, maybe we would say, maybe he did it privately. He vowed to be a Nazir privately, and therefore this could be a real, it could be that someone might think that this is a real Korban Nazir. The guy doesn't see him, doesn't know that he was a Nazir. Okay, because he did it secretly. So we still have to be concerned because it is something that is nidav and nidav. And that's what Zaklal is teaching me. V'she'einu nidav and nidav. What's the second clause of the Zaklal teaching me? That is coming to teach me that in Oylas Yoledes is something that's not considered nidav and nidav. And if someone says I'm shechting this animal as an oyla for my wife who just gave birth to bring the korban, that is not taken seriously. Amar Rabbi Lazar, this is only talking about if he doesn't have a wife. If he is married, so Amar Lishmo, I said maybe he really means that he's doing it for his wife who just gave birth. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? He didn't say it's for my wife. He said Oylas Isha. You can't just donate an Oylas Isha. And if he really meant for his wife, he would have said Oylas Ishti. So why do we take him seriously? No, it's talking about a case, you're right. We're talking about a case where he said L'Shem Oylas Ishti and he had a wife. And in that situation, we have to be concerned. Says the Gemara Pshita, obviously, in that situation, of course we would have to be concerned. Says the Gemara Ma'odetema, we would think no. Meaning if in fact she really gave birth, there would have been a voice, meaning it would have been heard. It would have been heard in the town that this guy had a kid, and therefore, from the fact that it wasn't heard, maybe we shouldn't take it seriously. Because again, this animal is Chulin. He just said, I want it for Oylas Ishti, right? And the question is, do we take him seriously or not? Will someone watching actually think that it's a korban for his wife's Leida? And do we have to be concerned that that person who's watching would take it seriously and think you can be Shech Kachin B'chutz? Says the Gemara, no, I would think you wouldn't have to take it seriously because the guy would never think that it's a real korban because he didn't hear that a baby was born. Since he didn't hear that a baby was born, so then maybe we don't have to be concerned that he's going to take it seriously. Says the Gemara, Kamashmala, no. Amor Apole Apel, he would say, no, maybe really it is a good korban. I didn't hear that the guy had a kid. That's because she miscarried. And even though she miscarried, she's chayav to bring a korban. And that guy who's watching would say that this is a good korban for the miscarriage, even though I didn't hear that the baby was born. And therefore, he's going to say that this person, oh my gosh, he's shechting kachin b'chutz. Maybe I'm allowed to shech kachin b'chutz also. And therefore, in order for that person not to make a mistake, we say it's also midrabanan. Hadron Allah sheichet. Ad kan Chulin Daf Mem Aleph, Ad kan Perek Sheni de Chulin.